Hi everybody, this is Mr. Vanderpool. Our objective today is we are going to review over production possibilities curves. This is the first graph we learned in macroeconomics. It's very important to know it well for the AP Macroeconomics test. So we're going to go ahead and review over that today. So let's start off by reviewing what is a production possibilities curve. Another name for a production possibilities curve, or a PPC, is a production possibilities frontier, or PPF. And that is a graph that shows all the possible combinations of two goods and services that can be produced when an economy is producing at full potential. Remember when we were talking about full potential, we were talking about an economy where technology use is being maximized. This economy is operating at full employment, 5% unemployment. This economy is efficiently using resources when it's operating at full potential. It does not, a PPC, does not actually show reality since it assumes that only two goods are being produced. Obviously, in most economies, they can produce more than two goods. It is a simplification that shows what sort of trade-offs will be made in reality. And it shows what can be produced, not what would be consumed. So let's take a look at an example here. Remember, production possibilities graph shows alternative ways that an economy can use its resources. So here we have a society that's choosing between, trading off between making shoes and making watermelons. So if we look at our graph here, we've got shoes on our y-axis in millions of pairs, and on our x-axis we have watermelons in millions of tons. So this economy can choose different combinations of amounts of watermelons and shoes they want to produce with their resources. So they can make no watermelons and 15 million shoes. They can make 8 watermelons, 14 million shoes. So you can see we graphed both points there, and we drew a smooth curve between them. And they can make all these different combinations with their resources. When we draw a smooth curve between all those points, we have a production possibilities frontier. So let's look at a production possibilities curve or production possibilities frontier for country alpha. So the frontier shows the limit of what can be produced, all possible combinations when all resources are being fully utilized. So here alpha is trading off between making guns, which is on your y-axis, and butter, which is on your x-axis. So let's look at the extremes. So alpha can make all guns and no butter. So here, alpha is making 1,500 guns and no butter. All resources are being used to produce guns. On the other hand, they can make all butter. Here, all resources are being used to produce butter. 2,000 butter, 0 guns. Or they can make a combination, like this pointer here. You have 1,100 guns, you have 1,500 butter. It's important to note that any point A, any point that is on the PPC, is an efficient use of resources. This country is maximizing its efficiency when it is producing on the production possibilities curve. Any point inside of the frontier, like point B, is inefficiently using its resources because it could produce on the PPC if it wants and make more guns and more butter, but it's not. It's also important to note that there are trade-offs as you move from point to point on the production possibilities curve. So A and B represent trade-offs. A produces more guns and B produces more butter. So let's take a look here. If you move from B to A, what's going to happen is this country, alpha, is going to give up something and then gain something. So in this case, as you move from B to A, they're giving up 1,100 butter to get 600 guns. So the opportunity cost of A equals the decrease in butter 1,100 units. So remember, the opportunity cost is just what you gave up when you decide to do something else. So here what happened as this country moved from B to A is they gave up 1,100 butter. That was their opportunity cost. They gained 600 guns. That was their opportunity benefit. The opportunity cost of moving from A to B is 600 guns. You can see here, moving from A to B, they lost 600 guns, they gained 1,100 butter, so the opportunity cost was 600 guns, the opportunity benefit was 1,100 butter. Now there are 5 variables that can shift the production possibilities curve to the right or outward. The first one is an increase in the productive labor force, the increase in productivity of a labor force. When a labor force is more productive, there is economic growth, long-run economic growth, and the production possibilities curve can shift to the right. An increase in the quantity and quality of natural resources can also promote long-run economic growth and shift the production possibilities curve to the right. An increase in the quantity and quality of capital. Remember, when we're talking about capital, we're talking about factories, tools, and so forth. More capital, more economic growth, the production possibilities curve shifts to the right. An increase in health and education. If people are more healthy or they're better educated, they're more productive, there's long-run economic growth, the production possibilities curve shifts to the right. More technology means more productivity. There's more long-run economic growth. The production possibilities curve shifts to the right. So let's take a look at this shift. So here we're going back to alpha. They're trading off between guns and butter. So we started off here at that red production possibilities curve. Then the curve shifted to the right after you had more technology or maybe more education in the economy, whatever it might be. That caused economic growth. That shifted the PPC to the right from the red PPC out to the blue PPC. Now notice once we have this growth, you can now make more guns and more butter, okay, because there is actual productivity growth. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if there was a destruction of capital, there was a destruction of land, whatever that might be, that might cause the PPC to shift to the left. Thank you very much.